A few hours before the family vacation, the one I paid for, Mom texted, "Don't come. Your brother's kids need your room." I replied, "Then let him cover the extras too." 30 minutes later, the resort confirmed my refund, and their names disappeared from every booking. When their plane landed, the trip they bragged about simply didn't exist. "Don't you dare raise your voice at me, Liam." Mom's hand hit the counter so hard the coffee mug jumped, spilling across the white tile like spreading ink. The house was too quiet before that moment. Now every sound felt sharp. Dad didn't even look up from his phone. "You think money gives you the right to talk to your mother that way?" I stood there, jaw tight. "You mean the money that's been paying your mortgage for 3 years?" That got his attention. His phone lowered just enough for me to see the irritation in his eyes. Not guilt, just anger that I spoke. Ryan, sitting on the couch, smirked. "Here we go again? The St. Liam speech. Go ahead, tell us how we'd all die without you." I wanted to scream, but my voice came out low. "I'm not your enemy, Ryan. I just wanted respect." "Respect?" Mom laughed bitterly. "You act like we owe you for being part of this family." Something in me cracked right there. "You don't owe me, Mom," I said quietly. "But maybe stop pretending like I owe you." The silence that followed was thick, until Ryan muttered under his breath, "Maybe if you hadn't screwed up Dad's business deal, things wouldn't be this way." My hands froze. The air went cold. "What did you just say?" Ryan looked up, unbothered. "You heard me." Dad didn't deny it. Mom didn't correct him. And right then, I knew this wasn't just an argument. This was years of buried blame finally slipping out. My name is Liam Keene, 26 years old. For as long as I can remember, I've been the quiet one. The one who cleans up, pays up, and shuts up. The kind of son who drives 3 hours to fix a broken sink without being asked twice. The kind who gets called responsible but never loved. Silence became my safety. I learned early that speaking up just made things worse. Dad would roll his eyes, Mom would sigh, Ryan would laugh. So I built walls, not out of anger but exhaustion. I thought maybe if I worked harder, gave more, stayed smaller, they'd finally see me. They didn't. Mom used my patience like an ATM. Dad used my paychecks like second income. Ryan used my guilt like leverage. But something changed that night. It wasn't just their words, and it was the way they looked at me like I was disposable. That was the moment I realized. Silence doesn't keep peace. It just hides war. And I was done hiding. You can learn a lot about a family by how they fight. Ours never shouted, not for long. They just cut deep and smiled after. Mom, Elaine, the kind of woman who can guilt trip you with a whisper. Her love always came with fine print. "I do everything for you," she'd say, right after taking what was mine. Dad, Charles, he believes every problem can be fixed with discipline or a loan. He talks like he's still the provider, even though I've been covering his debts since college. Ryan, 29, the golden son. Loud, charming, always gets the bigger slice. He knows how to make me look dramatic, and Mom always falls for it. The funny part? They act like a team, but they'd turn on each other the second money got tight. That night in the kitchen, I looked at all three of them and saw it clearly. The love in our family only lasted as long as I kept paying for it. And something told me that love was about to end. It started the next morning, a text from Mom. "Don't come on the trip, Liam. Ryan's kids need your room." That trip, the one I'd planned and paid for, had been my attempt at peace. Flights, resort, everything under my name. I stared at the message for a while, heart pounding but not surprised. Then I typed back, "Then let Ryan cover the extras too." She didn't reply. 30 minutes later, I called the resort and quietly requested a full refund. All bookings, gone, all names, erased. And when their plane landed, the family trip they bragged about for weeks didn't exist. By the time they realized it, I was sitting on my porch with a beer, watching the sunset. My phone buzzed like crazy. Mom, "You're cruel, Liam. How could you?" Dad, "Do you enjoy humiliating your parents?" Ryan, Pathetic move. You'll regret this. I didn't respond. For once, I wanted them to sit in the silence they'd given me for years, and it felt strangely peaceful, like I'd finally learned how to stop bleeding for people who don't notice the cuts. 2 days later, they showed up unannounced, Mom banging on the door, Dad pacing on the porch, Ryan smirking like he owned the place. "You humiliated us," Mom shouted the second I opened. "You canceled the whole thing just because we asked for one room?" I leaned against the frame. "You mean my room, the one I paid for, the one you decided to give away without asking." Ryan stepped forward, voice sharp. "You've always been dramatic. It was for the kids. You wouldn't understand." "Oh, I understand," I said. "I just finally stopped paying for people who treat me like I don't exist." Mom's eyes widened. "You're talking to your mother like this?" I sighed. "No. I'm talking to a woman who forgot I'm her son the moment I became her safety net." Dad's voice rumbled low. "You're lucky I don't throw you out of this house." I looked around. Funny, because I bought it. That shut them all up. For once, the silence wasn't mine. I remember the first time they taught me that love was conditional. I was 17. Ryan had borrowed my car, the one I worked 2 summers for, and crashed it into a mailbox. When Dad found out, he didn't yell at Ryan. He looked at me. "You shouldn't have shown off that car. You made him jealous." Mom added softly, "He's younger, Liam. You can handle it better." So I paid for repairs, then college fees, then Dad's medical bills. Every time I told myself it was love, that this is what family means, sacrifice without recognition. But the truth? They never asked me to help. They expected me to, and once you let people expect your pain, they'll never notice it again. That's the part that hurts most. Not that they used me, but that I let them. 2 nights after the canceled trip, a call came from the bank. "Mr. Keene, this is regarding the joint account loan under your name." My stomach dropped. "What joint account?" After an hour of digging, the truth hit me like a slap. Ryan had forged my signature. Dad was the guarantor. Mom had approved the papers. They'd been living off my credit, my silence, for almost a year. I didn't scream, didn't cry. I just gathered the documents and sent them to every relative, every friend, every person who believed my family's perfect stories. Within hours, the image of the respectable Keenes shattered, the whispers started, the truth spread, and for once I didn't clean up their mess. They had used my name to build their comfort, so I used the truth to take it all down. They came again, this time quieter, smaller. Mom's mascara was smudged, Dad's shirt half-buttoned, Ryan avoiding my eyes. Mom's voice trembled. "You've destroyed us, Liam." I stayed calm. "No, Mom. I just stopped lying for you." Ryan snapped. "You could have handled it privately." I looked at him. "You forged my name. You made it public." Dad whispered, "We're family. Families fix things. Families don't steal from each other." For the first time, none of them spoke back. The house felt like a stranger's, walls echoing every unspoken thing we'd buried for years. And as they left, I realized I wasn't losing them. I was finally being freed from them. I didn't storm out. I moved slowly, like someone learning to breathe again. Box by box, I packed my life from that house. When I reached the front door, Mom stood there, holding an old sweater I'd left years ago. "Liam," she said softly, "please don't do this. You'll regret walking away." I took the sweater from her gently. "I already regret staying this long." She cried, really cried. Not guilt, fear. Because she knew this time I wasn't bluffing. Dad looked at me once, then turned away. Ryan muttered something, but it didn't matter anymore. When I started the car, I looked in the mirror and saw the house getting smaller behind me. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was leaving home. I felt like I was escaping a cage. Months passed. I live by a small lake now. Quiet, still, honest. The air here doesn't judge me. Sometimes I sit on the porch with coffee and think about how strange freedom feels when you've lived your whole life earning love that never existed. Ryan called once. Mom sent an email. Long, half apology, half excuse. I never replied. Because forgiveness doesn't always mean reconnection. Sometimes it means walking away and wishing them healing from afar. I used to think family was forever. Now I know. Sometimes it's just a lesson wrapped in a last name. And for the first time in my life, I don't carry their weight anymore. I just carry my own. And that's enough. If you were in my place, would you forgive them? Or would you finally walk away too? Tell me in the comments below, because sometimes silence isn't weakness, it's survival. And sometimes, breaking it is how you take your life back. If Liam's story hit you somewhere deep, like it, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more true feeling stories about pain, truth, and quiet strength. Because everyone has that one room, the one they paid for but were never allowed to stay in. And sometimes, walking away from it is the bravest thing you'll ever do.